Alright, let's do it. Jeskai cycling. This is the cycling deck with some blue in the mana base to play Ominous Seas and Improbable Alliance as additional threats. I don't really have strong opinion of this. I don't know if it's good, bad, or otherwise. There's also a cheeky Castle Embereth here in the mana base, which seems relatively free. We've got 13 actual mountains, so let's go ahead and pop on into some matches with this one and see how Standard treats us today. Nah, we really don't make a big deal out of Father's Day or Mother's Day, Mikey. They're pretty commercialized holidays. Having a bunch of tapped lands, chat. Having a bunch of tapped lands. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this. There's no Fox on one and it's mono tapped lands. Yeah, I expect the Triomes to be a little bit on the rough side too. Oh right, this video game has sounds. It's exciting. Got Kruga here. Probably a Fires deck. Could be something like Elementals though. Some of the Elementals decks also play Fires. Lead on Rescuer, I think, so we can start making tokens next turn. Ooh, what does the Fox say? Arf, arf. Are they a flash deck? I think they might be a flash deck. Yeah, just blue-green lands. Whenever I play this format, like, I'm pretty quickly reminded that it's like, it's not just, like, the agent decks. There's just so many things in this format I just really don't find fun to play against. Getting flashed in Wilderness Reclamations and getting Aether Gusted constantly and Brazen Borrowed constantly. This format is just, it's exhausting, chat. Isn't Magic fun? Nah, I think calling Standard similar to Modern undersells the things that are rough in Modern. Ominous Seas probably isn't playable against their Brazen Borrower deck. Might not be playable in general. We're gonna find out. Shock lands. I'd start with shock lands. Depending on how much you put in, like, getting all the Shocklands just from opening packs takes a couple hundred packs or more, so I'd start there. I think the cycling deck's already pretty decent in Historic. We've played a little bit of this archetype in Historic already, and I think even just the cycling lands are very reasonable. The enchantment that gives all your land cycling, probably fine. It should be very good, especially on the play. Let's go Fox into Hold Mystic Dispute. What tools, specifically in Historic, make the Reclamation and Fire decks not oppressive? Yeah, fast aggressive. Both fast aggro and fast combo exist in Historic that allow you to get under them in a meaningful way. Another thing that we talked about a lot yesterday, we played a Jeskai Lurrus tempo deck in Historic yesterday on stream that was really good. A big thing that helps keep the greed in check in Historic is the Cardadonto Vanguard. Like, the weenie aggressive decks having a tool that lets them... Weenie aggressive decks having a tool that lets them not get destroyed by sweepers is really important. Yeah, Burning Tremissary does some good stuff for other decks. You know, I'm actually just gonna cycle this, because there's hope. If we run close to average here, we should be able to make these 4/4s next turn, is the hope. I'm sure we're gonna run below average and just brick off and die, but... I mean, to also be fair, readily perfect, our 4 additional lands are cycle lands, and we cycled through one of those. I don't think it's really an apt comparison to say, well, this is our fault because of deck building, because, well, our deck building thing cycled away. How did the Wanderling finish? 2-3. The Jeskai build felt worse than the Jeskai build definitely felt worse than the Grixis build. Yeah, we lost. I conceded a match to Amulet Titan because my fair deck just never beats Amulet Titan. And we died to Bant Control playing Uro because Uro generates far more value than a companion could ever dream of. And we lost to Blue-White Yorion, which just like went bigger than us. Well, I drew the planes off of the card that I cycled. So that wasn't an option. I'm on Magic Twitter, so all I heard was we lost to Blue-White Yori and companions are too good for Modern. God bless. God bless us, everyone. Probably dead to this. They're low enough to die to a flare, though, he says. Let's try and counter their game 3. Uses my mana for the turn here, too. They're dead to a cycler, right? I mean, assuming they have nothing. Extra blue cards, not feeling particularly good. They have enough cards in their bin to escape Uro here. Hey, Vapor Leon, thanks for the 4 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. $20 lands is a lot. Take a break. 4 of our land cycle. We've not drawn any cycle lands. It's basically like we're a 16 land deck. Alright, here's a code I already had apparently, so feel free to someone snag that from chat. I don't think I have this one. Do I? Yeah, look at that. Yay, we did it. Thanks, Loco. I like free stuff. Always remember, if you're going to be critical of decks that we're playing, make your criticism constructive and actionable. Even if it's just, I don't think this deck is salvageable, and these are the reasons why I don't think it's salvageable. Just saying, hey, this seems worse than this other thing with no other details or explanation of your thoughts isn't helpful. It just serves to tear down and crap on the thing that someone submitted, which isn't welcome here. I mean, I think it's fine to compare things to other decks that are different if you can articulate and give clear information about why you think the other thing that's kind of similar is better. But again, as always, the devil is in the details. focusing on those details of why it's better or why you feel the way you do is the most important thing to communicating clearly. I think with how much greed we run into, the life gain from the healer is less useful. If we could squeeze more aggro into that spot, it would improve the deck. So again, I'm not going to time you out for that one, Smith, but you did something there that's something people often do that isn't constructive, it isn't helpful. What on God's green earth does squeeze more aggro into my deck mean? Again, the devil is in the details. Give feedback that's actionable. This isn't your corporate workplace environment. Don't just like don't tell me to make my deck more agile. Save that for your daily stand-up. If you're against a slower deck like Yorion, I believe it's advantageous to shock on one if you have just a cycle, particularly if you're playing Drannith Healers to eventually offset the importance of reaching 3 mana. That's fair. That's a good observation. One of my favorite things about when I played in a lot of Magic tournaments was, just like talking with people and meeting new folks. And one of my favorite things that would always happen at events is like, you're making small talk with someone and you're like, all right, what do you do? Where are you from? Etc. And like you ask someone what they do for a living and they simply respond by telling you what their job title is. And it's like, well, no, what do you actually do? Like, if I followed you around at your office for 8 hours in a day, what actual actions do you take? Job titles are very, very nondescript. Especially in corporate America. Like, what a business analyst consists of, like, varies very wildly. A lot of people don't like answering that question. Yeah. There's definitely some people that don't. You analyze business. Don't call me out like that. Think I'm just passing here. I guess I could play the Stinger out and get this going on their turn. What would you say you do here? Yep. I communicate with students to assess their current and future options to try not to shove my head through a wall. That's the most challenging part, I would venture to guess. Sure, you don't have to explain, like, your day-to-day, but, like, if someone said they told me they're a researcher, I'd ask the question, well, what do you research? Like, what's your field, etc., stuff like that. Your want for depth is outside the social norms. Probably is. I'm an Excel monkey. Yeah, that's an accurate. I believe that descriptor. As someone who was once an Excel monkey himself, that sounds like an excellent descriptor. Are we just, like, continuing to go wide at this point? Are we just cycling through to save up for Zenith Flares? I think we're just on the Zenith Flare plan at this point, right? I guess I could kill Yorion. I think killing Yorion is conducive to making big Zenith Flares. Let's do that. That's 5 counters on Ominous Seas. Ominous Seas not being particularly useful looking here because the board's pretty clogged up. Multiple times per week, I have to explain where the on button is on a computer. I feel for you. Ewok Slayer, thanks for the 20 months. Oh yeah, is Python fully integrated into Excel now? I remember 5-6 years ago when I was an Excel monkey, they were talking about eventually integrating Python into Excel, and I was just working in VBA at that point. That actually happened. I haven't touched Excel in a long time. Hey, 0 and 0. Thanks for the brand new Prime Support. I appreciate that. Given how terrible VBA was, if it is Python now, it's probably great. Not that I've seen. If I have to actually open something in Excel, I have already lost. Yeah, Ominous Seas just looking incredibly underwhelming and useless here. It's not helpful in the slightest. Board stayed super clogged, and then we died. Oh wait, these don't have trample, right? Wait, do they? They do trample. Vigilance trample. Yep. Oh, that's Finale of Devastation is the one that doesn't give trample, right? If I recall correctly, one of them doesn't give trample. It's Finale of Devastation that doesn't, right? Finale gives haste. Yes, the incredibly green mechanic haste. Think I'm just swapping C's for disputes here. No Fox on one, but seems reasonable. Concordant Crossroads is a green card, yeah. Yeah, early Color Pie was real loosey-goosey, chat. The Color Pie in the olden days was more of a suggestion. The classic world enchantments, if you would. I think I'm gonna lead on Alliance just in case they have like a shock here. I'm glad we've moved on from the white has always been too weak circle jerk to the companions are too strong one. Lol. I don't think I'm supposed to hold up dispute for Arisen Reef here. Probably save it for this or for Omnath. Well, you know. You win some, you lose some, chat. Have you cast Boon of the Wishgiver? We've not. We've come close, and, like, we've gotten enough mana to actually cast it a couple of times, but it's always been better to just cycle it with other things we had going on. Actually, you know what? Maybe cycling there is wrong, because I'm supposed to... It might be right to wait to be able to leave up dispute for a Cavalier next turn. Oh, they are missing green for that. Good call. Don't forget Modern and be safe. Thanks for the half a year. We played Modern to start this morning. We played Modern 2 streams in a row, chat. And I didn't end up hating myself at the end of it. Modern and Historic both seem very reasonable right now. Standard seems bad, and I haven't played enough Pioneer or Legacy to really have opinions on either of those formats. You're a Magic player, why are you letting that stop you? Fair. Try and get them low enough to, kill them next turn. If you're a Delver fan, Legacy's really good. Isn't Delver always really good in Legacy? Oh. Oh, yeah, that's the thing. Alright, if we survive this, we'll start making a mental note to leave up dispute for Genesis Ultimatum. Nice ramp spell. Nice ramp spell. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Bazips. Magic is an incredibly low variance, high skill game where the better player frequently wins. Nuclear launch detected. Hello, wife.
Hi, honey. Sorry for my quarantine appearance.
Your quarantine appearance. You're beautiful. My favorite wife.
I made the mistake of talking to somebody on the internet.
Don't do it.
But it was such an innocent comment.
Nope, they doubled down, right? It wasn't innocent.
They were complaining that our both towns here and many others have canceled like their 4th of July fireworks shows. And all I said was I've always thought they were a waste of money. A lot of cities spend tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on a 20-minute fireworks show that, like, everybody complains about the roads, spend the money on fixing the roads. And they're like, and then the reply to that was, so you don't think we should celebrate freedom? Why don't you go live somewhere else? Just like,
you need to remember, honey, that we kind of live in MAGA country. You need to remember that Illinois is only blue because of cities like Chicago.
But I don't want to celebrate freedom. So I should go live somewhere that doesn't have freedom. Do people even know what does freedom mean? Like, what freedom are we asking to have?
Only communists fix roads. That's, to be fair. Roads are socialist. If healthcare for everyone is socialism, public streets are definitely socialism. Not close.
Man, if I don't want to spend $200,000 on a 20-minute fireworks show, I hate freedom.
You do.
I just never put that together.
I wasn't aware that I was married to someone who was so anti-American. Can you believe my wife, chat? Feel free to take back those Happy Mother's Day's comments now that you know how much she hates freedom.
Aw, chat was the first people to say that to me.
Oh, you're such a good mommy.
Where's my present?
I gave right here. I made you a mommy for a third time. Enjoy your Hallmark holiday.
That's so rude.
Thanks for the biddies, boys.
Those aren't for you.
Those
are you a mother? Actually, our couch is really comfy. The one down here is.
That's almost self-aware. If you want better than America, leave. Listen, chat, remember, if you want to suggest America isn't perfect and you're rich, white, and male, that's a winning presidential campaign slogan. If you want to suggest America isn't perfect and you're not rich, white, and male, you should leave. Hashtag make America great again.
I thought it was already great, and now we're keeping America
great. Oh, we're keeping America great, sorry.
Congrats, Be Rich. 12 weeks feels like forever ago. I don't want to relive 12 weeks.
Take my freedom bits. Thanks, Phoenix. Yes, we are currently in the Make America the Great Depression Again stage. That is that. Do I even want to play this
that
fox?
has the word great in it. Maybe that is.
I don't even think I want to play this fox, huh? I think we're just on the cycle it plan to make alliance tokens and like pump up the Zenith Flare. I think I play the land attack for 4 here. Alliance being good on the stalled board, worth noting. So far the ominous whatever has been real bad. Ominous seas, but alliance has actually seemed pretty okay. Mr. Zaute, thanks for the 9 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So there's 4 cards in the bin. I can go cycle at end of turn here to make 2 more tokens. And that puts us up to 6. How are your oldest children behaving this morning? You should probably mute that, because that was my wife's phone. Sorry to everybody that just checked their Facebook messages. Would like to apologize.
I just want to watch the world burn.
You just want to watch the world burn.
They're being good.
Wow, that got me good. Joke's on you, I don't have Facebook.
They just, like, how is the public pool not opening this summer trampling your freedoms? I don't get it.
Well, if you weren't such a freedom-hating communist, maybe you would get it. So we're 1 point of damage short here. And, like, again, if this Triome was just like a 1-mana cycler, we could kill them because they're at 7. But it's not, so I can't.
Wow.
I guess we just, like, hope to not get pigged this turn. In Texas, you have decided to open the pools.
Well, but it's hot in Texas, right? And the UV rays kill the virus.
Yeah, so you should put a light, if you put a light bulb up your butt before you go in the pool, you'll be okay. You won't spread the coronavirus, right? Was that my understanding of it? Injecting Lifestyle is safer than putting it up your butt. Good call. Just do some Lysol shooters. Do not shoot lights into any of your orifices, and do not inject cleaning supplies, chat. Please and thank you.
Isn't it sad that you have to say that?
Yeah, I feel like I should, though.
No, you absolutely should.
But, like, you know.
Oh, filling the pools with Lysol is a good idea. Where are they getting all this Lysol? The store shelves are empty.
I think they're still dead through the game 6 here. I get to go cycle at end of turn and make 2 friends, and this will be an 8.
You see the reports of Trump basically being bored of the pandemic? So
of course he's bored of the pandemic.
He's just trying to move on to other things and ignore it.
Counties in PA are opening up in spite of the governor saying that there still needs to be a lockdown. It's going to be very interesting in a very sad sort of way to see how these places react 2 to 3 weeks from now when they have their resurgence and their hospitals potentially have issues.
I think it's how ridiculous how many leaders, whether they be leaders of federal, state, or local, are suggesting, like, going against orders above them and revolting against them.
Yep. Yeah, it's really...
and starting riots. And, like, our city's gonna ignore the governor's orders and we're gonna open everything. Peoria's doing that. Like, it's just mind-boggling how they're saying revolt against the government when they are the government.
So I've cut the Ominous Seas because they really don't seem good and added back in more 1-mana cyclers. The Alliances have been okay, so I'm going to leave those in to give them a little bit more of a chance here. At least we peeled back the last dog. At least one of the positive things to all of this is we've peeled back the last dog whistle of, well, you just need to follow the law, right? It was never about following the law. These people don't actually respect the law. They're just racist. I don't have a problem with immigrants. I just hate that they're here illegally. All right, yeah. Why don't you follow the stay-at-home order then? Weird. You actually care about the law and you're not just a racist. Yeah, so suddenly they don't care about police lives. Weird how that works. So we're just like doing this and then just like making tokens so we're blue in the face, right? We are getting closer to absentee voting in more states. Hopefully every state has mail voting by the fall. Like, obviously that won't happen because America is America, but hopefully most of them do.
Ooh, $15 off $75 on diapers.
Ooh, diapers.
Look, we're gonna need a lot of those.
I don't think I want to trade these for Questing Beast here. I think especially with the Drannith Healer drawn, I just take the hit for a turn.
The heat thing is comical because it was raging in the, like, places that were hot a few months ago, like Australia and the Middle East and wherever else it was summer while it was winter here. I don't know.
America. That's a god. So probably need to Zenith Flare this turn.
I think you should wait till next turn.
Well, the Clothis is going to start eating my cyclers,
Maybe you should
honey.
have done it last turn.
Maybe. Alright, so I think that box is actually getting cycled here is the plan. And we'll cycle it on their turn so that way we make 2 more tokens. And then if we go cycle, Zenith Flare you for 7. If we don't die this turn, we can untap and kill them with Castle next turn is the plan. So if we, wow, with Zenith Flare drawn, do we actually just kill Questing Beast here? If I Zenith Flare their dome, do we die to Embercleave? If I Zenith Flare their dome, they Embercleave here, and then this is 10. I chump block. I block. So the Zenith Flare does 1 less damage if I wait. Yeah, I'm just gonna let the Clothis happen. I think we just let it happen, and that insulates us against Embercleave. Yeah, I think electronic voting is not a good idea. I think having voting be more accessible via mail is a very good thing.
But if we don't suppress voters, the Republicans might lose.
You know what's funny? Like, states like Utah that are very, like, conservative, they have full vote by mail. Like, this idea that, like, voting by mail is this big liberal conspiracy, like most things Republicans say, is not based in fact or reality, but in fear-mongering and hoping that stupid people don't realize what reality is.
Voter suppression is a thing, with, like, closing...
Are they dead? This puts them to 10, and then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. So they block 3. I only have 8. If I attack with everything, I get 8 through, and then Castle kills them. Because Castle is plus 8 damage, right? 6. They block 6. Okay, yeah, so they're dead. They're dead to Castle. They're also dead to Flare here because your creature's dying. Pump it. That's a good catch. That wasn't something I was thinking about. It's a good thing to keep in mind. I think, I think I want Redcap in this matchup. I'm going to trim a couple of Alliance and a Cycler, I think. I think Thundermane's a little bit too slow here. Yeah, the Castle was sweet there for sure. We have a lot of good ways to enable it.
So the only way I think you can get pictures off the Switch is to post them to Twitter or Facebook. You can't just go look at all your pictures.
You can't save them to the SD card?
But I, want to access them outside of the Switch.
Sure. Pull the SD card out of the Switch and put it in a computer.
That's way too much work.
That's way too much work.
I want to just be able to, pull up the photos in my Nintendo Online account or something. But I have to publicly post them to Facebook or Twitter in order to get
Create a private Twitter account.
But I thought that one was funny. That's why I Twittered it.
You can send them to your Facebook and make it so only you can see them.
I guess that makes sense.
So we have to bottom 3 cards here, but I get to keep a Fox and a Cycler, so that's nice. Do I keep Fox double Cycler? If I do this, is this too greedy? Probably. I'm going to do it anyways. I think we need to be a little bit greedy to win on 4 cards.
But it was funny because he asked, the guy asked me if I was going into the resident services building to do some charity work. And he said, I had to work once. It was the worst. I was like, you're just saying what we're all feeling.
Your capitalism simulator is very realistic.
It is.
Nintendo might not have room to store the pictures on their startup server. Yep.
Nintendo's online play experience is kind of awful. And their multiplayer on Animal Crossing is atrocious. But they did so much of it well. How did they miss the mark so blatantly on these other things?
If this survives, maybe we can get back in this game.
Aww.
Alright, that's a questing beast. I guess if no, I don't even, I'm 2 land short. If I hadn't missed a land drop, we'd have been able to Zenith Flare this, but without the lands, yeah. Alright, let's take the next game on the play. Nintendo is the worst console company when it comes to online. Sounds about right.
What should I make you for lunch?
What do we want for lunch, chat?
Something crunchy that you can eat right in the microphone?
Chipotle. We were talking about making burritos.
They like the, what are those streams called? With the noises?
ASMR?
Yeah, you could chew in the microphone something crunchy.
No, I don't chew in the microphone. You can't give that away for free, my love. Nobody would buy the cow if they could get the milk for free.
No takeout.
No takeout, chat. We are like 6 weeks, 7 weeks. How long has it been?
The middle of March.
We're a lot of weeks takeout free. Almost 2 months.
Wow, that's impressive for us.
It is.
Like, more than impressive. The first week was impressive.
I think I'm trying to hit land drops here since I have Zenith Flare in my hand.
It is a little bit sad. I deserve to feed my cravings in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy.
As long as you don't tell me you're suddenly eating healthy too, you'll be okay. Oh no. No, yeah, there's plenty Christy and I killed the entire frozen cake box the other day.
It was so good.
In fact, I think there's a strong chance I've gained weight during quarantine.
Me too.
Yeah, you definitely have.
A lot. Yeah, we do grocery pickup or delivery. It's no contact.
Really needed to hit a 4th land there. If we hit a 4th land that turn, we might have been in this game, but I think missing that land drop again means we're probably dead.
No, I think I've gained like 35 bounce.
I guess if I hit the 4th land next turn... No, that's just haste and kills us.
I think I've gained 35 pounds since
This
before
deck
I was pregnant.
This deck does a lot of tire spinning. Yeah, my experience with all the aggressive decks in this format is that the differential between their nut draws and their average draws is just really huge. Like I feel like the games that we're winning are ones where we're far above average, and like any game where we are even slightly below average, we don't really have a very good chance in.
Tired.
Anybody talking about fraud with voting by mail is spreading GOP propaganda, and there is no evidence that voting by mail increases fraud. It's one of those things that you hear people repeat because it's lazy and it sounds right offhand, and they don't take any effort to actually figure it out and investigate what reality is. It's one of those GOP talking points that's divorced from reality. Do not be a part of the problem. It's full of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's FUD. It's fear-mongering to discourage people from doing things that would improve things for many.
Do we have this?
Also, it's just a good general reminder that in the fall, things are probably gonna get real bad regardless of who wins. Donald Trump called an election that he won rigged. I can't even fathom what he's gonna do when he loses an election. Donald Trump told people to liberate their states, and people marched on their Capitol buildings with firearms. I can't imagine what he's gonna encourage and incite people to do after he loses an election.
I like how you think people aren't stupid enough to re-elect him.
I gotta hope, babe. I gotta hope. There is a real chance he wins re-election. You are not wrong. Your vote does matter. Even if you are in a deep blue state or a deep red state, there are a lot of down ballot elections that really matter. This idea that the presidency is the only election, the only position that matters in the United States is nonsense and FUD. Do you know why Obama couldn't get a lot of things done? Because the Senate flipped. And they blocked. You know why Brett Kavanaugh is on the Supreme Court? Because even though Obama was president, Mitch McConnell blocked all of his appointments. There's a lot more than just the presidency that matters.
I'll leave you to your ranting.
Sounds good. Love you, Wafy.
Do you want some lunch later?
Later. Yeah, a couple hours. I had a big breakfast kind of late.
I know, but what do you want? Message me.
You want to do tacos? Or is that too much for without me?
Let's do that for dinner.
Sure. My take on this one so far versus just Run White. Improbable Alliance has been okay. And honestly, even with the slightly higher land count, we've been losing more games to having not enough lands than to having too many. We quickly cut the Ominous Seas because they were super clunky and awkward. But the rest of this has been pretty reasonable. For 17 months, Gazni, welcome back.
prowess.
I'd encourage everybody not to give in to the apathy that's easy to fall into. The idea of your votes not mattering and it all being helpless and hopeless, that's things like that are what the GOP depend on to stay in power. The reason why the GOP are so opposed to people voting by mail, they're opposed to people voting by mail because it lets more people vote, because when people vote and people realize their vote does matter, the GOP tends to lose elections. GOP stands for Grand Old Party. It's a synonym for Republicans. Do I want dispute against Jeskai Luka? Do I want Redcap Melee? I feel like Redcap Melee might almost be useful here because killing their token when they try to agent a treachery, giving myself like one more turn before I get agented is probably really meaningful, right? I know I'll have to sacrifice a land to kill most of their tokens, but I think that's still worthwhile. Yes, your income level has nothing to do with how impactful your vote is. Which state you're in can dictate how impactful your vote has the potential to be in terms of the Electoral College. But again, there's a lot more than just the Electoral College out there. I'd encourage everyone out there before the elections in the fall, take an hour or an hour and a half or 2 hours one day and Google everything that's on your ballot for your state and local as well. There's a good chance there will be a number of local and county and state ordinances that will very realistically directly impact you, far more than the presidency will. I know it's a little bit of work, and work sucks, but someone else made a really good point earlier that I think is a good one that I agree with. Because I have this Valiant Rescuer in my hand, I think it's important that I try and hit my land drops here. So I'm going to shock to cycle on 1 here just so I give myself the highest probability of hitting my 3rd land on 3. Only high voter turnout can overcome aggressive gerrymandering, which relies on small margins to steal victories. Exactly. Playing Alliance here plays around a removal spell or a sweeper a little bit. However, it's pretty bad if they have turn 3 Narset. Oh, you know what? I should have brought in Fry, right? Fry kills Narset. I wasn't thinking. It's my first time playing this matchup. Definitely did not bring in Fry. Okay, not punished, which is nice. Try and find a land here. Double Zenith Flare here is nice. If we can hit our land drops and keep cycling aggressively, we could potentially punk them out. Have we cast Lurrus yet? We've not cast Lurrus yet in this set, no. Games have been decided before that point every time. Morning, Weather Lady. I think we do this and pass. Hold up Redcap here. They go land Luca down tick, I get to redcap their token. If they don't, I'll cycle the Stinger. I'm also just not sure we can beat them in their fair game plan from this point. Our Zenith Flares aren't that large yet, and like Yorion's gonna draw a bunch of cards here. Oh, they can also just Teferi Time Raveler, so that way I can't respond to their cards. Because Hearthstone is fun. That's exciting. Excited to find out if we get Stone Rain to this turn. So I held some interaction up, and it didn't matter that I was holding interaction up because they had Teferi. And they had Fires of Invention, which lets them steal my stuff. Yeah, Magic's fun. Teferi's just such an offensive design. Teferi's design makes everything else in the format that's obnoxious just that much worse because he prevents you from being able to interact with them. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, we're gonna work through these standard decks in the queue. I might just be off a standard until rotation in the fall afterwards. We're getting an always-on historic ladder. We might just do all historic for the arena segments on stream. Thanks for the 10 months, Micromom. Welcome back. Okay. See if we can draw another 1-mana cycler here. Well, I'm gonna pass. If this cycles into a 1-mana cycler, we can make another token on their turn, which is nice. Teferi and Agent. Alright. I actually think Fires is probably fine. I actually really like Fires as a design. I think Fires is a sweet card, and I think I would like it to remain legal in the format. I think even without Fires, Agent and Teferi are obnoxious. I think I would just get rid of those. Fires of Invention is a good kid that hangs out with the wrong crowd. Yeah, I think designs like this should be encouraged. Powerful things that have some very real drawbacks, that have real build-around considerations, I think are interesting. The problem is Teferi just chokes you off of the ways in which you'd go about punishing this card. Oh, we should sack the Triome so Flare is bigger. That's a good thought. I didn't think about that. We should be dead here, right? Wait, they boarded in Dream Trawler? I guess we take those here. Yeah, the fact that Teferi makes Disdainful Stroke basically unplayable is a big part of the problem. If Disdainful Stroke was a playable card, and we're just dead at this point, right? Like, they're gonna Luca this again next turn, probably get Agent, they'll get to Yorion, blink a bunch of stuff. As continues to be the case with most of the brews we play here, they feel somewhat competitive against non-Yorion, non-Luca decks, and against the Yorion Luca decks, I feel like we have to run solidly above average and get exceedingly lucky in order to be competitive at all. It's just not fun. Teferi just makes it so difficult to attack what their deck is doing. Resume, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Yeah, quite possibly, JVL. There's a good chance that just removing Teferi from the ecosystem is enough to self-correct. But I'm also pretty biased in that opinion because, like, I've wanted Teferi banned since basically the month after it was printed. The card's pretty rancid in terms of the play patterns that it generates. If Teferi got the Oko treatment and basically got shift deleted from all Magic formats, I really wouldn't complain. Alright, what are we doing? We're going to roll on into Historic for the rest of the day because I've been enjoying Historic a lot more than Standard. We are going to kick things off with this Jeskai Vadrok brew because Rodan or Vadrok here could return History of Benalia to play is something that's kind of sweet. So I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll, get everything set up and flipped over. When we get back, we're going to have a few different Historic decks today to close things up. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.